p.m. at the G-Tech Community Stadium for Brentford, who take on Chelsea in our second London derby of the evening. And what a tie it is set to be. It's always a great atmosphere.
For the first time in the Premier League, Brentford are going to go with a back three, so a first league start of the season for Ethan Pinnock. Illness has deprived the Bees of the services of the influential Mikkel Damsgaard. So in comes Mathias Jensen in the second change from the Stadium of Light. So the attacking threat will have to come from Kevin Schade and Igor Thiago. New arrival Reece Nelson is named among the substitutes, with £42 million Mandango Ouattara also on the bench after his international exertions with Burkina Faso. Enzo Maresca hands out a couple of Chelsea debuts here tonight as he makes 4 changes to the side, but started their win against Fulham a fortnight ago now. Robert Sanchez, one of Chelsea's ever-presence thus far, but in front of him changes. A first Premier League start for Jorel Hato, and Wesley Fofana handed his first start of the season after injury. Enzo Fernandez should be comparatively fresh after serving a suspension for Argentina. Moises Caicedo ready to go after playing for Ecuador. Facundo Buonanotte joined late in the window. He's handed his debut, with Jamie Gittins also coming in. And after Liam Delap's injury, João Pedro will lead the line. Cole Palmer's recent injury means his minutes are being managed. He's on the bench, as is another new arrival, Alejandro Garnacho, fresh from his move from Manchester United.
Tonight, and his understanding within that back three, they played in the League Cup in that shape, is when he needs to step out, along with Collins, along with Van der Berg, when they step out as a three and individually onto the Chelsea backline, onto the Chelsea number 10, who's making his debut tonight. Is a big night for him, Buonanotte. A surprise inclusion, really a surprise transfer within the transfer window. João Pedro was an able substitute for Cole Palmer when he stepped out with injury. It's his night tonight with Delap injured.
So we're almost ready to go. A ninth Premier League meeting between these two near neighbours, with the added unpredictability that post-international break fixtures so often bring. Chelsea will say they haven't, but I'm sure they've got one eye on the return of the Champions League and a trip to Bavaria that awaits them next week. But here, this Saturday night, in the shadow of the A4, they prepare to take on Brentford. Brentford with an inventive kick-off, straight to Coyote down this right-hand side. Whipped in by Jordan Henderson, seeking Thiago. João Pedro buffeted a little too heartily by Nathan Collins, and Stuart Hatwell gives the free kick to the Blues.
Interesting start from Brentford, and perhaps something of a sign of what we're going to see with two centre-forwards. Lots of crosses, Thiago and Schade. Thiago's cut an isolated figure at times on his own, but he's a lot better when he's in support. It's interesting listening to Jamie in the studio talking about players getting in and around him and helping him. That's something Brentford are going to do. They're going to go fast, they're going to go long. Set pieces, something else. Keith Andrews, the set piece coach, in their 3-5-2. Chelsea, no real surprise in the shape. It's how they go about playing through the Brentford lines and getting through the support up to João Pedro and Buonanotte on the ball, and finding the space in there with the three centre-backs, with the three midfielders of Brentford.
João Pedro leading the line. We know he can do that. He's had to do it during his time most recently at Brighton. It's not his preferred position. They'd much rather have had Liam Delap out there, but 10 to 12 weeks without the summer arrival from Ipswich Town. There's Enzo Fernandez into João Pedro. Good to see Fofana back in a starting lineup after overcoming the latest of his series of injuries.
Interesting to see how João Pedro does it as centre forward, because he likes to come and get the ball. He likes to be, as he said, the number 10. That's where he wants to play. But need, and what Delap was doing so well as a foil, was running in behind. And Brentford are still holding the line. They're not dropping right onto their own
Live, and our next stop tonight is in West London at the G-Tech Community Stadium for Brentford, who take on Chelsea in our second London derby of the evening. And what a tie it is set to be. It's always a great atmosphere at this ground. And remember, Brentford did really well in the first half of last season, especially at home, and they would love nothing more to make it a tough place for Chelsea to go again. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on this fixture? What do you think is going to happen, Jermaine?
I think
Brentford, it's a period of transition for them because they are adjusting to life under a new manager.
Yeah, an open play, that's going to be a problem for them, but I think Chelsea will have too much for them tonight.
Well, you can see the teams lining up there. Let's have a look at them in formation and how they will look tonight. And there are two changes for Brentford since that loss at Sunderland. Pinnock and Jensen are in for Atara and Damsgaard, who is ill. Massive blow there. Of course, Jordan Henderson plays a big part in that, in the middle of the park. He brings a lot of experience, doesn't he? But I guess they'll be relying on Sharda to score the goals. He scored 11 last season. Let's have a look at how Chelsea line up. And there are 4 changes from that win over Fulham before the international break. But quite a few firsts here to show you. So, Hato, he makes his first start. Fofana makes the first start since March. Buonanotte makes his Chelsea debut, and Gittins is in the side. Gusto, Cucurella and Estevao out of the side, and so too is Delap until December with that injury. It is worth pointing out again that on the bench. Which players are you going to be keeping an eye on? Other than, of course, Jack Petrick.
For the first time in the Premier League, Brentford are going to go with a back three, so a first league start of the season for Ethan Pinnock. Illness has deprived the Bees of the services of the influential Mikkel Damsgaard. So in comes Matthias Jensen in the second change from the Stadium of Light.